Hey, it looks like you guys voted for me to make a video about my crazy job experience. Awesome, let's get into it. When I was 15, I needed job experience. So when I heard of a summer high school internship, you bet I was there. The interview was a disaster, which I talked about in a previous video, but I somehow got the job. My mission was to be a teacher's assistant in a sewing class. I know, very intriguing. But before I dive into my epic adventures of being a teacher's assistant, let me show you my routine. Step 1. Arrival. Upon stepping into the campus, employees are expected to check in and grab a walkie-talkie that corresponds to the room they work in. However, sometimes someone would steal my walkie-talkie, and I would be forced to bear the humiliation of having a non-corresponding walkie-talkie.
It's terrible.
Step 2. Prep. Prepare the sewing room for greatness. Step 3. Spend all your positive energy making sure the kids have a good time while simultaneously making sure you don't do anything illegal by accident, because if you do something illegal, you will get sued and never see the light of day again. You know, just typical teen intern stuff. Step 4. Lunch. Step 5. Spend all your physical energy making sure the kids are being obedient while simultaneously making sure you don't do anything illegal by accident, because if you do something illegal, you will get sued and never see the light of day again. You know, just your typical afternoon in a school. Nothing abnormal here. Step 6. Attend a meeting. Yeah, I don't really need to explain this one. Okay, so now that you have that background, let's get into the juicy stories. On one fateful day, the games director Funman decided there would be a staff v student talent show. The students would choose one student and one staff to compete. I wasn't chosen, so I thought I was in the free. But later, the staff competitor pulled me aside and said he needed my help. Okay, Fred, I need your help. Follow me. He told me that he was going to perform the entire choreographed song of I'm Just Ken from the Barbie movie. He was to be Ken, and I was to be the guy who punches Ken, I don't know. Then us two and a random other guy would all hold hands at the end. Simple. When the time came to perform, he was doing great. He was fake singing, the kids were booing, and I was preparing to enter the stage. Well, it wasn't really a stage, it was more like a covered concrete area. Anyway, my time came, I got destroyed in our hand-to-hand combat, and then we held our beautiful hands. It was awesome. Luckily, the kids didn't like the other students' performance as much as ours, so I thought we were going to win. Then the worst thing happened. Well, it looks like we still have some more time. How about we have a spontaneous bonus round? So a random kid got up from the audience and sang a song along to music and stole our sure victory. That's thievery, I say. Another story has to do with a mass bee stinging that I caused. I'm a great employee, by the way. Sarcasm. So I was helping with a hiking class, and there were two groups. I was in group A, and then there was group B, like 5 minutes behind us. And it just so happens that me and group A walked over a bee's nest. Bees were flooding out, which was probably the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. I evacuated the kids in a panic, and I radioed group B to warn them about the nest. However, it's important to note that I hadn't been to this school in a while, so I wasn't exactly familiar with the paths. Now, my group had walked a shortcut instead of the normal path, so when I radioed the second group to stay away from the nest, I simply told the leader of group B, just stay on the normal path and you should be fine. What I didn't know is the shortcut that we took was considered the normal path. And so, to my horror after walking for a few minutes, I heard screaming of the kids from group B. I felt so bad. And to make things worse, later that day we were walking in a creek. What?
Yeah, I don't know either, but we're walking in this creek.
And I had to parkour over a log. But my walkie-talkie just decided it wanted to go swimming, and it jumped into the river. Breaking news! The graveyard of technology Fred's destroyed gets a new resident. So yeah, those are my stories from working. I was actually invited to come back a second time, and God really helped me turn things around. And I got a lot better at being a teacher's assistant. So, just because something is hard for you doesn't mean God can't help you conquer it. I guess that's the moral of the story. Alright, now go out in the world and make people smile. Woo!